Imagine living in a place where trust doesn't exist. A place where your neighbor, your coworker, even your own child could report you for a stray comment, a wrong gesture, or even a private thought. This is not a fictional dystopia. It's the daily reality for millions in North Korea, the world's most secretive and repressive regime. But how does a nation so isolated from the world maintain such absolute control over its people? The answer lies in a sinister web of surveillance, propaganda, and fear. In North Korea, loyalty is not just expected, it's enforced. From the moment a child is born, they are indoctrinated to revere the Kim family as divine. Every home is required to display portraits of the leaders, meticulously cleaned and maintained. Any perceived disrespect, even unintentional, can lead to severe punishment. But this is just the surface of the regime's control. Education in North Korea is more than a tool for learning. It is a weapon for control. From the very first day of school, children are taught to revere the Kim family as saviors and protectors. The curriculum glorifies the regime, rewriting history to portray the leaders as near mythical figures who single-handedly shaped the nation. Every lesson, whether it's math, science, or art, is infused with propaganda designed to instill unwavering loyalty to the state. Children are also molded into the regime's ideal citizens through rigorous training. They are taught that the greatest virtue is loyalty and the greatest sin is betrayal. Military drills are common, even for the youngest students, symbolizing their duty to defend the regime from enemies, both real and imagined. It is a childhood devoid of innocence, where questioning authority is unthinkable. In these classrooms, surveillance isn't just external, it's internal. Children are encouraged to monitor each other and report anything suspicious. A casual remark overheard on the playground, a hesitant answer during a loyalty oath, or even a lack of enthusiasm during a patriotic song can be flagged as signs of disloyalty. Parents, too, are under constant scrutiny, knowing their own children might one day turn them in to prove their allegiance to the state. The regime's reach doesn't stop at the classroom. Children are often required to keep journals documenting their thoughts and actions, which are then reviewed by teachers and officials. These journals serve as a chilling reminder that even a child's private reflections are subject to state oversight. For families, the stakes are impossibly high. A single mistake, one word or action that suggests even the faintest hint of dissent, can condemn not just the individual, but their entire family to unimaginable consequences. This ensures that fear and conformity are passed down through generations, perpetuating the regime's iron grip on its people. In North Korea, there's a saying that the walls have ears. This is not a metaphor, it's a grim reality. The regime's control over its people relies on an extensive surveillance apparatus that operates at every level of society. Cameras are strategically placed in public spaces, monitoring citizens' every move. But the real power lies in the people themselves. Millions of eyes and ears working as informants, reporting anything deemed suspicious. The foundation of this surveillance state is the Inminban, or neighborhood watch groups. These are small clusters of households overseen by a government-appointed leader. Their job: to keep a close watch on everyone in their jurisdiction. Who visited whom? Who said what? Even the smallest deviation from the norm can lead to an official report. These watch groups blur the line between community and compliance, turning neighbors into enforcers and friends into potential threats. This culture of mistrust extends into the private sphere. Even within the walls of their own homes, people speak in hushed tones, fearful that their conversations might be overheard. Some families have been known to install their own makeshift soundproofing to muffle any unintentional slips that could be interpreted as criticism of the regime. Imagine living every moment with the weight of knowing that a single word could destroy your life. And while the surveillance machinery watches from the shadows, propaganda attacks from the forefront. Loudspeakers in every village and town fill the air with constant messages glorifying the supreme leader, condemning the enemies of the state, and reminding citizens of their duty to the regime. This propaganda is inescapable. It seeps into daily life like a never-ending chant, reinforcing fear and loyalty through sheer repetition. Television and radio are strictly controlled, offering only state-approved content. There is no alternative narrative, no outside perspective. For most North Koreans, the concept of unbiased news or global events is completely alien. The regime shapes every story, every broadcast, ensuring that the people only see the world through the lens of their government's agenda. This dual approach of omnipresent surveillance and relentless propaganda creates a society where rebellion isn't just unlikely, it's unthinkable. The people are not only watched, but constantly reminded of their place in the system. Trust is eroded, individuality is crushed, and fear becomes the ultimate weapon of control. In a society where every action is watched, fear becomes the currency of control. The social control mechanism in North Korea ensures that every citizen is afraid, not just of the regime, but of their own neighbors, friends, and even family. Informants are everywhere, often working under the direction of the state, but sometimes simply out of self-preservation. Even seemingly innocent acts, like dropping off a note or exchanging an object, could be seen as suspicious. With no way to gauge the loyalty of those around them, people must constantly be on guard. The fear of being reported, of being perceived as disloyal, is a constant shadow that looms over every interaction. Private moments become impossible. In a place where suspicion is inevitable, even the most personal thoughts become dangerous. Individuals must police their own emotions and expressions, hiding any sign of dissatisfaction or dissent. A furrowed brow, a moment of hesitation. These are all cues for the vigilant eye of the informant. It is a life of constant surveillance, where even the smallest flicker of resistance is a threat to one's safety. The control doesn't end at the street or in the workplace. It extends into the most private spaces of the home. The state's reach is all-encompassing, breaking down the barriers of family and friendship. The atmosphere of surveillance penetrates all levels of society, so much so that no one feels truly safe, even in their own homes. North Koreans are taught to be vigilant not only in their actions, but in their thoughts. The state uses constant propaganda through television broadcasts, loudspeakers, and even children's education to implant a singular ideology. Loyalty to the regime becomes a psychological necessity, and the penalty for dissent is often too high to imagine. Even the family unit, once considered a place of refuge, is not immune to this insidious oversight. Parents must instruct their children in the art of silence, teaching them how to speak the language of loyalty while hiding their true feelings. The intimate family dinner becomes a performance, a space where the unspoken rule is survival. In the rare instances when someone dares to speak out, the consequences are swift and severe. Those who attempt to break free from the conformity risk being taken away in the night. No one is safe from the state's reach, not even those who believe they've found sanctuary within their own walls. North Korea's control doesn't stop at individual behavior. The entire landscape is meticulously structured to keep its citizens under constant observation. Borders are heavily fortified, cities are suffocatingly monitored, and even the very streets are designed to remind people of their place within the system. Those living within the country face an invisible but ever-present wall that limits their movement, their expression, and their future. Every movement is tracked and every area is restricted. Travel within the country is not a simple act. It is a privilege granted by the regime. Citizens must report their intentions, receive approval, and even be accompanied by an official guide to ensure that no one strays from the party-approved path. The lack of freedom of movement ensures that no one can connect with the outside world, and every new destination feels like another cage to be locked into. Every defector knows that the escape is not a one-way ticket to freedom. They face a labyrinth of challenges. First, evading the state's watchful eyes as they sneak into neighboring countries. Then, they must live as invisible ghosts, constantly dodging the regime's operatives who track down anyone attempting to escape. But even once they cross the border, the fear does not fade. These defectors live in constant anxiety, afraid that the long arm of North Korea will reach out and drag them back. And many do. Thousands are caught, detained, and forcibly returned to face the brutal consequences of their attempted escape. To be a defector is to be hunted, to be a symbol of betrayal in a system that does not forgive. If this story has opened your eyes to the harsh realities faced by the people of North Korea, don't stay silent. Share this video to spread awareness and support organizations that help defectors and fight for human rights. The journey to freedom is long, but together we can help amplify their voices. Subscribe, comment, and stay informed, because every story matters.